Indivisible is an action RPG platformer developed by Lab Zero Games and published by 505 Games. You may know Lab Zero from their work on Skullgirls, which is pretty evident in how both of these games look. Managing to fund the game through Indiegogo despite almost not making it to the threshold for the project, the game released to pretty positive praise despite some lack of polish and confusing mechanics. So, what the frick is so charming about Indivisible? Our story begins with a group of heroes battling with an unknown entity. On the brink of defeat, they manage to seal away the being, putting a stop to whatever it was doing. Probably, you know,
censored.
Anyway, 16 years later in Ashwat village, we meet Ajna, our hot-blooded, headstrong teenage protagonist on her way to train with her father Inder. One platforming and combat tutorial later, Ajna and her father argue about her mother before Inder storms off. Following after him to apologize, you find the village is under attack and that Inder has been mortally wounded by a mysterious figure. Inder dies and you fight with Dar, a lieutenant of the Navarre army. During the fight, however, Dar gets absorbed into your brain.
Are we going to explain this at all?
Nope. So our next course of action is to follow the Navarre army to find Ravanavar, the leader of the army who has been attacking villagers. Heading through the jungle, you meet with a witch named Razmi. She agrees to join you and...
Again?
Ajna, please! After inadvertently absorbing Razmi, you continue on through some ruins and find your mother's axe. Eventually you come across your next companion named Ginseng, a botanist and your party's healer. Finally reaching Ravanavar's airship, you meet Zebe who...
Oh my god, it's Matt Mercer.
Yes, this game has a lot of well-known voice actors. You destroy its control panel and it begins to plummet from the sky because Ajna didn't use the one brain cell she has to think that this is maybe a horrible plan. You then fight Ravanavar who just lore vomits all over you during the fight before jumping off the ship and you follow after him. Before you become jam-strewn across the floor, Kushi manages to save you and joins your party. A large amount of searching, combat and platforming later, you find Ravanavar who turns into a spooky monster, you do the video game thing and beat him and hooray, the day is saved.
Oh no!
But actually no, it's not, because Ajna just released the very powerful entity from the beginning of the game who now aims to
Censored.
You meet with a deva named Tharani who teaches you to channel your power. From here on, you set out to unravel the mystery of who you really are, why you're trapping people inside your brain, and to put a stop to Kala. This was kind of hard to sum up quickly since a lot does happen to set up the main plot and there is a ridiculous amount of characters in this game. The story is definitely not going to be winning any writing awards, but it's that fun Saturday morning cartoon that is a good backdrop for the characters and gameplay. The cast is very diverse and ranges from I'm extremely plot relevant to who are you supposed to be again? Ajna can come across as that shonen protagonist with just how incredibly dense and irritating she can be, but at the same time I love her and would kill anyone who hurts her. I can't cover all the companions since there's just way too many, so I'll just talk about the few from the start because I'm professional like that. Dar is a complicated individual who goes from indisputably hateable to somewhat sympathetic. Razmi is great because deadpan apathy is always a hilarious character trait. Ginseng is the embodiment of the genius kid character. Tharani is the spiritual guide with a fun side. Zebe is actually kind of a dick for a good chunk of time, and Kushi is adorable and will punch you into next week. Honestly, the characters do make this game a lot more enjoyable, especially with their interactions, even if they are a bit dumb at times. Some might not be your cup of tea, but with the sheer size of the cast, there's bound to be a few you like. Overall, a fun, simple story with an interesting and varied cast. The gameplay can be boiled down to two types, platforming and combat. Let's start with the platforming. You start off being able to run, jump, wall jump, and slide. All of these are used throughout the game and are the base of your movement options. As you progress through the game, you gain a variety of new moves that involve your weapons. You can use the axe to lodge yourself into walls and use the spear to bounce off hazardous terrain. You also unlock special maneuvers like the corkscrew and the juggernaut run. I will say some sections can be very janky at times. The timing can be really off for some jumps and Ajna doesn't seem to get enough momentum at times. Now, combat in this game is a little different from your standard RPG.
Unless you've played Valkyrie Profile.
Yeah, that. Each character in your party is assigned a button depending on their position. They have different actions that they can perform by either just pressing the button or by holding up or down while pressing. Example, Tarani's neutral will shoot water, her down attack is a close range hit, and her up attack activates all the puddles she's created to heal allies and damage foes. Each character has a certain playstyle, so mixing and matching your party will give you the best results. Whenever you recruit a new member, you get a little tooltip that explains how their moveset works. To block attacks, you need to press the corresponding button before an enemy hits you. Perfect timing will reduce the damage significantly, and you also need to spam the button for multi-attacks. You can also make the entire party block for area attacks. Boss fights are broken up between combat and bullet hell platforming, so they keep things interesting. The last part I'll touch on is specials. Each character has a variety of special moves that use this meter. No, this one. Hey! Thank you. Now the game is real coy and doesn't tell you the character's specials, which means you'll be doing a lot of trial and error. I mean, Kushi doesn't even have any specials, but the game doesn't tell you that. What other secrets are you hiding? The combat seems complicated at first, but it's super easy to get the hang of, to the point that I would say this game is a little too easy at times. I don't generally consider difficulty the be-all end-all for judging if a game is good or not, but the combat can be very exploitable and some characters are very overpowered. Ginseng can fully heal the entire party with little effort, and Nuna's traps stop enemies from even attacking. Basically, while I think the game is quite fun to play, I wouldn't choose it if I wanted something more challenging. This game is pretty. The hand-drawn animation gives the world and its inhabitants so much personality. Firstly, let's talk character design because they're freaking cool. Every character is unique with different body types, clothing, and ethnicities. What I really love though is how each of their designs match with the area that you find them. They aren't just thrown everywhere with no thought. Each location is super detailed and they vary wildly. From Port Marifa being a lovely seaside city with pirates and mermaids, Taikrunk City's eastern streets look complete with very stabby junkies, and Ravanavar's airship, which doubles as a very lavish palace. However, you'll quickly notice that these are just glorified backdrops, especially on repeat trips. There's just not as much to do in the areas as I would like. One thing you'll find is a bunch of background characters that sort of stick out a bit. These are OCs made by backers, and it's a cool idea for a reward, but they also stand out like a sore thumb. The animation is gorgeous, especially for the combat. It's very expressive and that perfect level of cartooniness. And yeah, I don't really know how to explain this all that well, so just look at it. So amazing visuals in both the character and environment designs. The music is a very entrancing mix of orchestra and Middle Eastern instrumentation with a lot of tracks that have a very light and airy feel. Not to say that it doesn't bring the heat in fights though, because those tracks come in swinging. I can see myself using a lot of the music to write to because it's very relaxing and easygoing. The music also ties in well with the locations. I also gotta talk about the sound effects because they're chunky. You can feel as each hit connects, it's super satisfying, and the little sounds the creatures make give them a touch of personality. Last but not least is the voice acting, because if it's not obvious by now, this game is filled to the brim with a lot of well-known voice talent. Ajna is voiced by Tanya Granadi, who I've never heard before now, but I freaking love her performance here. She gives Ajna so much energy and it fits that wide-eyed protagonist role perfectly. Benjamin Diskin plays Dar and brings his very snooty royal talents to the blindly devoted boy. Rasmi is played by Stephanie Shea, and I really didn't pick up on that when I started playing. And of course, we can't forget about
Matt Mercer playing Zebe.
yeah, he's pretty good. 10 out of 10. Cool dude. As well as many more that I can't list off here because I don't have the time and I'm lazy. The dialogue between characters can border on very cheesy, but honestly it fits so well and the writing plays into the tropes rather than against them. So a very lovely soundtrack and a star-studded voice cast gives the game a very pleasant vibe. Indivisible is a game that wears its heart on its sleeve. The love that the team gave this gem truly shines in its visuals and characters. A fun combat system coupled with the platforming makes a game that is constantly moving. While it can definitely be on the easy side of things, the game still remains a fun ride throughout that I recommend if you're looking for something to waste away an afternoon. The game is available on PS4, Xbox One, Switch, PC, and Mac. Thank you so much for watching. Please like the video if you did, subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope you have a chill day.